Church dead, one on the left here. Then jump right here behind Tetra. I'm on the heavy. Tetra's behind still.
Hold it.
Church. Nice.
Easy for teams to respawn and apply some pressure, but right now,
How did that happen?
unbelievable! Yo, 2 advantage on the field for FT, win already. They're gonna go ahead and move this tower to the checkpoint. Unbelievable display of individual skill there, Nine.
He shouldn't have gotten either of those. That's not how that's supposed to work. There's a glitch in the system.
Have you had a half sleep?
3, 2, 1 point to win!
Oh my gosh.
Dead!
Get the ball, get the ball.
Got him! We're shot! Nice! Yes! Yes! Let's go! Let's go!
Imagine, for a moment, you are down all 3 of your teammates with 10 seconds remaining. There's still a chance because there always is, but it seems impossible. There's 4 players on your opponent's side while it's just you. You suddenly focus so hard where every bit of noise is blocked out. You only hear the sounds of bullets flying and specials being used. Stakes are high. It's the last game of a set to secure the win for your entire team. It's all up to you. Your heart rate starts to increase, your arms start to feel heavy, and your breathing gets more and more shallow. You kill one. You move to the side, but squid roll back and kill another. You use your little paint you have left on your feet to stealth swim a tad to the right to catch out the third. And now, it's a 1v1. This one singular fight determines the entire outcome of the entire set. It's you versus them. You run forward because there isn't much time left and you kill the final opponent, successfully completing a clutch play. But let's back this up. All of these responses are what makes a clutch play clutch. However, how do you do this consistently? How can you be classified as a clutch player with the likes of Zero and Volti? All of this and more coming up shortly, but first, a quick word from today's sponsor. Huge shout out to today's sponsor, myself. Yeah, I don't have sponsors yet, but I'm hoping to reach 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and we're actually kind of close. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who has showed me support over these past few months. It truly does mean the world to me. Anyways, back to our regularly scheduled program. Regularly scheduled? How do you even say that? First, let's talk about all the things that happen when you are in the zone of a clutch play. First things first comes the realization of a clutch play, which is where you start to enter fight or flight mode. In this mode, you will either attempt to win this unwinnable scenario, which needs to be won, or you back up and then it's just too late. In these scenarios, you need to choose the fight option. Afterwards comes cognitive tunnel visioning, or tunneling if you're cool like that. When tunneling, you become so focused on one specific thing or lose the main objective of this clutch play because you get so focused on the small details that don't matter. Because of this, you will most likely lose a lot of your peripheral vision. Next comes the stress of it, the kind that weighs on you immediately. This stress, if not managed correctly, could cause you to not successfully complete the clutch play. This could be basic motor skills, which could be mechanics or positioning, and it could also affect your decision making. Your stress affects you in other ways as well, like over-aiming and freezing up. Freezing up could also be a factor of that flight or fight I previously mentioned. So, what makes a clutch player clutch? To put it simply, emotional regulation and stress management. 9 times out of 10, a player without these factors can get a clutch play but can't perform them consistently. See, when you're in a scenario of a clutch environment, you let your stress and emotions take over. And if you're able to just push those down just for a tad bit until the play is over, you can expect some pretty good outcomes. However, I know it sounds easier than it really is. The reason why I can explain this so well is because I myself am a clutch player. When it's just me left on the field, I tune everything out and just lock in. No stress, no worries, no money, no problem. Granted, you aren't always going to execute the clutch play because it is a clutch play for a reason. It's not always guaranteed that you will come out on top, but this may help you perform more consistent at it. So what can you do in these real-time situations to make these feelings subside and go down? First, think you can do it. If you think it's over, it's already over. It's not over until it's over is a very famous quote by some guy, and it is very, very true. After that, take a deep breath or two. If you have time, of course. And just let your muscle memory kick in. If you think about it too much, you will start to stress and go into tunnel vision mode again. Now, what can you do to prepare yourself for these situations when they do happen? Again, to put it simply, just play the game more. If you want a more complex answer, try to put yourself under minimal stress situations more often. This could also help you out in real life situations as well. Stress management is super important for day-to-day lives and gaming as well. When going into a session, plan out what you want to improve on and just do that. As well, prepare yourself. Have a clear head. Forget about your struggles of that day and just focus on the struggles of what weapon to use for that specific map and mode. One of the last things I want to mention for mental prep beforehand is training your muscle memory. To do this, you need to get reps in of your weapon and you need to have knowledge of the game. Knowledge of your weapons, strengths, weaknesses, best positions, and so much more. Now, I want to lead you over to an interview with one of, if not the most clutch players in Western scenes history, Zero.
One dead! Single left! I got you! Dead's dead! He's dead, he's dead, he's dead!
On your right, on your right, on your right. He's half. He's got me right.
Top mid.
Waiting for this charger.
Nice.
Still right there.
Charger down.
Alright.
Nice.
One more there.
Is another?
Yeah.
Dead. Fire from half.
Top right.
Oh my god!
Only in headache.
Okay, so I am here with Zero. Zero, introduce yourself.
Hello. If you're not familiar with me, I'm a competitive top player for Splatoon. Let's see what else. I have the only 3000 XP in Splatoon 2. I've won multiple majors and Nintendo events. And yeah.
So basically, you're good at the game.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I'll jump into the questions here since we got 6 of them. So, what do you think makes a clutch player clutch?
Okay. In my personal opinion, I feel like a clutch player is always just defined as someone who can basically just save the game for their team no matter what, depending on a set or just a single game. It's always the person who is capable of fighting out, for example, a 1v3 and winning and saving the objective win, or just helping with team fights and being able to support everyone no matter what. That's how I see it as a clutch player.
Okay. So, we're talking about clutch players, which is the whole point of this video. What do you do / have done to make yourself one of the most clutch Western players?
I think it's more of just my playstyle because it involves a lot of risk and reward. Because, for example, the way I play is just full on running it down aggro. And that's always been the way I play because I know my mechanics are very high. And basically, when in these do or die situations, wanting to clutch and make sure we secure the win is something valuable. And being able to solidify a win like that because I do something, for example, flanking and getting 2 to 3 picks, or just clutching out a 1v3 in order to recap zone or take tower, or even just scoring the last like clam on like the 0.1 per like second meter and you just get it in, things like that. Those are immediate clutches. And then deciding to my team that, hey, I'm gonna run it down, just paint zone or just stay alive. Let me take the fight only and basically clutch out for my team. That's just what I've done and have seen work as a frontline and as a clutch player, I guess. But overall, it also just comes from experience and knowing what to do in these do or die situations and not just panicking as well. It does take a lot of experience and a lot of understanding of the game and knowing when to take these positions of risk and reward and just be ready to make these clutch plays happen or just fail horribly.
You know what? That's valid. I'm gonna skip ahead a couple questions just since we're kind of on the topic. How much game knowledge do you know, and do you think it helped your muscle memory and mechanics?
I think I have a very good insight of the game, especially now from taking a step back, like from a bigger like spectator perspective and just coaching and helping out other teams and watching how other teams play. It's very different from when you're in the moment. So you kind of understand a lot of things more. And as you play tournaments, win tournaments, and lose constant tournaments, it does help you understand why you lost, how you lost, what can you do to improve. And I feel like it does help certain scenarios with muscle memory and mechanics, because I'll give an example of just if you're running it down and trying to take a fight and you know that one's behind you, your immediate thought process should be, I'm gonna get a kill in front of me and I immediately have to turn around. So that kind of builds a muscle memory and builds your mechanics to both not only flick and be ready to fight behind you, but just to constantly be aware of everything and kind of be prepped no matter what's gonna happen, and to just go back and forth in every scenario or be prepared for every scenario in every fight. That's the
Okay.
best way I see it.
Okay. So I'm gonna on the topic of muscle memory, do you think there is a way to improve your muscle memory, and if so, how?
Okay, I definitely think there is a way to build your muscle memory, and it does just come from consistently grinding the game and playing, because everything just becomes rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Like, you're getting a crab, your mind just has to think automatically, get on a higher elevation. You're playing Zuka and you have to know how to position yourself. There's inkjet, like you have to be ready for certain movement things. Like I do think that muscle memory can be built in certain aspects, and just coming from a lot of constant grinding and playing the game, but it does take time for that to happen, and you have to be able to be in those scenarios, especially in like tournaments where you kind of don't have time to practice it and you kind of just have to make it happen.
What is your mental prep before going into a session? Now, most people don't think they have a mental prep, but in their subconscious, they have one. Do you have one subconsciously, or are you consciously making one? And what is
I'm
it?
consciously making one. Mine automatically is just I'm better and that I know I can win. And I feel like that should be for everybody no matter what. But it's a lot different for me now, considering I've won events, I've won majors, I've won tournaments, championships. So I sit here and I say to myself, no matter what, for example, if I'm playing the NA League that's coming up, if I were to play that and I'm with a group, my first thought is going to be, we can win, and I know we can. We just need to do things right, and I have to be on point. And no matter what, my mindset is going to be, I know I can win, and I will win. Even if I lose, my mindset's still going to stay the same, because I need to win, and thinking any different is just going to affect me and make me play worse. And I feel like that goes for a lot of people. The moment they think they're not going to win, or they're on the verge of losing and they start getting scared about it, their mental changes and they start playing different. They don't play as confident and they don't play the way they should. So it leads to players not playing in their peak performance. That's the best way I see it. But I always feel like no matter what, everyone has a mental like prep, and I feel like it might be different in certain ways, but everyone should be thinking the same of I'm going to win.
I basically have nothing left for you. Do you have any other tips that we didn't cover, which is probably hard to, say because we've been at this for 25 minutes. But do you have any tips?
For honestly, for the game, I feel like no matter what you do, I feel like you should master what you want to play, understand the game more, learn more, play in anything you can. I feel like no matter what you win or lose, always never degrade your wins. Always look at what could have went wrong and how you can never let those come close to happening. When you lose, I feel like you should always look at those as opportunities to grow, because if you take those losses and just get upset and then give up, I feel like no matter what, you're just not going to improve as a player. I feel like every single loss leads to a win, and you want to just be able to grow off that and learn why you lost, how you lost, what you can do to prevent them or build on that, and then continue to push from there, and then just not giving up. Honestly, that's always been my mental, where no matter what I do, if I lose over and over and over again, I need to keep pushing because I want to win, and just keeping your drive up no matter what. I just feel like that's the best thing for this game. And just take time. There's always going to be time. There's always going to be events. There's always going to be opportunities to do things. It just takes time, and always waiting for the right moment will happen. Like everything will happen when it needs to. Just don't rush into things and take it slow and understand what to do for the game and how you want to play. That's the best I can give.
We did talk about like having your like presence known and like think you're the best and this, that, and the other thing, but I feel like there is a fine line between it being your mentality compared to you boasting about it, right? I think the big difference is basically don't be a dick.
Yeah, I
like
I feel like
keep it in the game.
it all stays in game. Exactly. It all stays in game, and if it does like lead to us just chanting or like yelling, I feel like that's just in the moment.
Mhm.
And a lot of the time, it's never that deep or personal outside of the game. I feel like no matter what, it will always be in the game, and outside of that, it just leads to, unnecessary beef.
Well, I think that wraps up my questions. I think you got all your final thoughts in, unless you got something else.
I think I'm good. It was great. It was great to say everything and speak on it.
Now, you may have noticed that this interview is very cut up, and that is due to us actually talking about mentality and clutch plays for over half an hour. I will be posting an unfiltered version of that interview at the exact same time, and the link will be in the description. I highly recommend listening to it, because I believe it's a topic not covered by enough players. And to be honest, the interview just goes so much deeper than what I even showed. Like, the amount of stuff I learned from this interview as a player who's played for almost 8 years is crazy. If none of what I have said previously has stuck with you, I'll leave you with this. Have a growth mindset. Clutch plays are called clutch for a reason. You're not supposed to win these scenarios. After the emotions are subsided and you're in a situation, you can look at the play constructively. Watch it over. What could you have done in that situation? Sometimes the answer may be nothing, and that's okay, but take a deeper look. There's always something you could have done better. I offer you a challenge, if you will. Go out there and study top players' clutch plays, and some of your own. See what could have been done better and see what you can improve on. But that's all I have to say. And as always, my friends, take care of yourself. Have a good night.